what's gonna happen. It's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page lies. It's about to begin. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
So this is remarkable. The paper tablet created for people who like to take notes.
Mike's
It
got
even
a
feels.
friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Holy moly, I just barely made it. I got like 48 buttons I gotta click to go live, and sometimes I gotta wait for things to open. It's a race. When I hit that three-minute window, it's a lot of it's to give everybody time to know that we're live and, you know, get notifications if you get one or not. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it also takes me 3 minutes to get everything working, so. Today was a race. But we won, Louis. We did it. We did it. We won. There's a NASCAR race on 11, by the way, if you got, you know, working and you want to watch something. They had a rain delay at Michigan, so. Then we'll be heading over to Daytona for this weekend. We'll talk about that. We tend to go to all the Daytona races unless there's something in the tropics. But the tropics are behaving for me, so we can enjoy a week over there at Daytona with nothing to talk about. So we'll be live tomorrow. This is our Daily Brew. Good morning. Come to you live from Oldsmar, Florida. Talking tropics, me and Louie. We're going to talk about weather. Yep. Jason, I mentioned Bob, I mentioned camping. Trying to break the curse. So hope everybody doing great. We had a lot of weather over the weekend. We had some sneaky little storms in that weird dipping cold front. We had a lot of rain up north. We're going to talk about it in Connecticut, New York. And we got a little weather coming up today to talk about and the rest of the week. And we'll talk about tropics, get into all that for you. Nothing imminent right now, so nothing to stress about. That's right, Bobo. I was at Walmart and the whole aisle, two aisles. Everybody told me that's fall decorations. But to me, when you have pumpkins out and you have thanks signs, that's to me Thanksgiving. But I have learned we are Colleen. We're going to talk about the NASCAR forecast. It's not going to be a good one, but we usually put hay out in the front of the house, and I learned that if I don't buy the hay now, it's never out after Halloween. So it's kind of backwards. You got to buy your hay and Thanksgiving decorations before Halloween, or you can't buy them after Halloween. You got to buy your Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving, because then it won't be available when you want to buy them after Thanksgiving. Doesn't make sense. Anyway. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. We'll say hi for a few minutes. This is our Daily Brew. It's a great time. We chit-chat every day, pretty much. We'll be live tomorrow. Probably not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, though. It's my annual going to Daytona week. If there's anything cooking, I'll be live for sure. I have Starlink, so we'll be good to go at the races. Thank goodness for Starlink too, by the way, because there's years and years and years and years. You know, I've been doing this for 20 years. We've been going live since 2016. But when you get a lot of people at one of these NASCAR races, there is no internet. Everybody's on their phones, and everybody's using the same cell phone tower. So thank goodness for Starlink, because now I can go live if I have to. Such a great, great improvement. But big shout out to ABC. We're going to be talking a lot more about our spaghetti model IPA coming out very, very soon. The month of September, we got 2 special meet and greet grand openings with the release of that IPA here from TBBC, and we're also going to do some fun stuff at ABCs across the state, so pay attention to that. We really appreciate all their support over the years. 5 years now supporting our MWP page here and all of our Floridians, so big thanks to them for all of that. Let me put on the current satellite here while we chit chat. So there's Ernesto. Believe it or not, Ernesto looks better now than it ever has. Go figure. It's all the way up there next to Nova Scotia, and it looks better now than it did ever. Winds are 85 miles an hour. It's going to skirt just off the coast of Newfoundland, so that's good news for them. They're going to get a lot of waves. But hey, Brian, what's up, buddy? Karen, that's a good thing. Karen has straw hails. Hey, that's good to know. Brian, it's hot in Texas, man. What's up, Omar? Good, crazy. But anyway, this is my little trip. So you know we were supposed to go storm chasing. Sherry Pie, Louie's in hog heaven. What's up, Ted? Perdido Key, what's going on? What's up, Carmen? PCB. Scott's sailing to the Bahamas. Heck yeah. Gonna be great. Julian's first day of college. Well, good luck, Julian. Emily's second week of college. Gene from Chiefland. Well, say hello to your fire station crew up there. I'm not sure who stopped by to say hey, but the fire department was up there with me during Debbie, and they came by and we took some selfies. So it's cool to know all the crew up there in the fire department at Chiefland. What's up, James? Morning. See that picture of Emily I put online, man? She's looking, got her softball uniform all good to go. What's up, Chris Hargish? What's up, Corpus Christi? How many Texans are tired of the heat? I want to know about that. Larry's at Disney Springs. I remember when it was called Downtown Disney. That was the fun days. Hey, Harold. Sherry Baker Orange, what's up? Hello, thanks, Miss Loretta. That's hilarious. Oh, my God. Hey, listen, Brune Rub. Listen, he was very thankful. I was really happy he tagged me. I like to do that. When people take the time to mail stuff, I make sure to at least say hello to him. I'm glad that somebody saw him somewhere and pointed him out. Miserable in Texas, yes. Hey, Newfoundland, what's up, Francis? You know you're going to get skirted. Probably get a couple feeder bands, but nothing too bad. It's going to be going by pretty quick. A lot of waves, though. I heard it's pretty awesome spectacle with those big Atlantic waves. Yeah, Texas had, Judith, you said 22 days of 100-degree heat. That's nuts. Crazy. What's up, Bobby? What's up, Debbie from Panhandle? Nope, wasn't meant to be. Let me tell you my little quick story. We'll get right into weather. So, obviously, if you followed me, we were going to Bermuda. I tried to push it back as long as I could. I like to keep doing my broadcast to the last possible second. Yes, I could have went earlier, but I didn't. So, I had one of the last flights going into Bermuda. And the day started out really good. They bumped up my flight to Charlotte earlier. I didn't have to go to Miami anymore. They told me the flight from Miami to Charlotte might have been delayed, and I wouldn't have made my flight from Charlotte to Bermuda. So they got me on a plane from Tampa to Charlotte. I was like, this is great. Got on the plane. Had a little weird feeling I posted about the plane. You know when you have weird feelings? When it was taking off, it felt a little weird. And then when it was climbing altitude, to me, it felt a little weird. I could have been imagining it, but usually I don't feel weird in airplanes. But anyway, 2 hours into the flight, we did a U-turn over the Bermuda Triangle. And they had plane maintenance issues, they said. They didn't dump us off, obviously. There was another group that was supposed to take that plane out of Bermuda, so they got stranded in Bermuda. So we had to go back. Yeah, so I missed my storm chasing in Bermuda. But things are meant to be. You know, who knows? We had a great day in the water. Had a great day yesterday. I found out last night the flight from Bermuda to Philly was delayed. I would have missed my Philly flight to Tampa yesterday, so I would have been stranded there overnight last night and tried to get a flight today. And we're going to Daytona tomorrow, so it would have messed things up. So it did work out a little bit. But anyway, my good buddies Brandon and Jonathan and Jordan Hall ended up all staying at the same Airbnb. That was so crazy. So my Airbnb lady, Susan, very nice. We had everything set up. I had a car set up. I had the news channel there going to pick me up. We were going to go to the news station, but they ended up staying at the Airbnb, which is great. But they also had a care package there that they were bragging about, because every time they enjoyed a sip of the beverage, I would get a text about them enjoying Bermuda with dark and stormies. So that was painful. But anyway, I don't know. There's probably nothing left over, Kevin. But anyway, I did have a gut feeling, though. It was really weird. So, all right, let's talk about some weather. Anyway, we'll be live tomorrow, and then we'll be off a couple days. Back Monday, though. The race is over Saturday, and we'll do a Daytona forecast here in a minute. So I'm going to say goodbye to Louis. He's going to be so sad because he was feeling very needy today. All right, so we got an eye now on Ernesto, but we'll just talk about it real quick. Here's what the satellite looks like. Very, very organized. Way north. Very organized. Whoops. Let me put back right here. Here we go. There is where it's at. These are your tropical storm force winds. So they're definitely going to hit Newfoundland, the eastern parts. Subtropical. The winds are going to be wide. It's going to be passing by late tonight, be gone tomorrow morning. And there it goes. Might go to Ireland, England maybe, as a subtropical storm. But that's it. Brought a lot of swells. The big story over the weekend was OBX, man. Outer Banks lost several homes to the waves of Ernesto. We had a full moon. We had heavy surf in Outer Banks. There was so much damage to a lot of homes. A lot of that didn't make the news, but there was several homes that actually got washed away. Very sad to see. So there's that. All right, what else we got? Let's talk about this. This was yesterday. This was possibly two 1,000-year events in one day. Serious flooding in Connecticut yesterday. Double digits of rain in short couple hours. And then we had another round come in towards Long Island, and they had some serious rain through the afternoon and evening and night. So two different rare flood events took place yesterday and into last night, making headlines. So if you didn't hear about that, do a little Googling on that. But it seems like these once in a lifetime flood events are happening more and more and more and more. It's really weird. Thanks, Jennifer Shaw. Jennifer still calls it Downtown Disney. Yep. Me too. Nancy, I've not had my dark and stormy yet. So, and the Facebook chat is frozen again. How many of y'all are experiencing the same thing with the Facebook chat? They're freezing lately. On the PC, let me pull it up on my. Hey, the good news is I just got a Spirit Halloween email. It's a mechanical Michael Myers. I get a Spirit email a day now, so that's pretty cool. It kind of lets you know that we're one day closer to Halloween. All right, let's see if the chat works on my phone. Anything cooking in the Atlantic, Aaron? No, nothing that I see. We'll talk about it here in a second. Oh, now mine is working. Yeah, now they're coming back up. Quarter-inch hail, Harold. Scott from Northern California. Yeah, Kane. I'll tell you, these little, the New England area for last year and this year, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut now, they've been getting crazy weather. Serious weather. All right, what else I got opened up? Fun stuff. All right, here's the storm map for today. Look at this lingering front again. This thing's going to do this same as yesterday. It went a little bit farther south than yesterday, but we're going to see some storms again across the mid-Atlantic northward. We're going to see storms across the Florida, northern parts of Florida, and up through Louisiana, maybe a little bit in Texas. So green usually means severe thunderstorms are possible. We saw a ton of severe thunderstorm warnings yesterday. I don't think I remember seeing so many areas last night. The last post I did was all severe thunderstorm watches. This whole area. It was crazy to see that. Never seen that many severe thunderstorm watches in place. But anyway, we might see some more today. So that's today. Also got flooding again today, unfortunately, up towards New Hampshire and Vermont. So this lingering frontal line is going to bring potential floods again today. Tropics. Boom. There we go. All right. So every morning you want to wake up, and Ed Lowe's has already got Halloween stuff. Oh, my God. Well, my skeleton is anxiously waiting. I bought a clown last year. Our new tradition is a clown. I love the animated clowns. Neighbors probably think I'm getting a little weird, if they didn't know already. But man, these flooding events, I'm telling you, they're just popping up all the time. It's really weird, man. Where it seems like we're getting so many of these isolated flooding events that just are just crazy. All right, so this is your 7-day tropical map. This actually would show you right now if we had any areas the NHC's watching, and they don't. So we don't have any yellow areas. So that puts us into next Monday. Doesn't mean at 2 o'clock today we won't get one, but I don't see one anytime soon. There was some chatter about this front line lingering, but there's really no support. I'm going to show you all the latest, but there's just nothing. This is it. And I don't get bored, all you that think you know me. And I don't need clicks. Clicks don't mean anything. God, it just makes me chuckle more than anything. I find plenty to do. All right. Yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah, they're just more common, man. I don't know. Kimber's from TV. Where's TV at? Is that a place? It is. I don't know. This is weird to see Halloween stuff out when it's still August. I don't know. All right. So there's nothing cooking there. Let's see what else we got. I brought this up today. All right. Just a reminder. And I get it. We have a lot of preseason forecasts. All of them are high. I share them. I agree with them. But weather changes. And, you know, a lot of see I told you so's out there. And I guess I made a post this morning to remind people. First off, my hurricane shirt 2 years ago. So I'm alternating slogans every other year. This year's Bring It On. Last year's It Only Takes One. Next year we'll get back to It Only Takes One. I like both of those slogans. Bring It On just means we're ready, prepared, have a plan. Only Takes One means it doesn't matter if you have 30 named storms, and if 29 of those go out in the open Atlantic and don't affect anybody, who cares? How many people are so wrapped up in how many named storms we get? That's the problem, And we don't get them. There's this huge letdown emotionally of like, oh my God, it's a big bust. But honestly, it really only comes down to every season seems like it's defined by one, maybe two storms. And it all, for me, started really big back in 16, in 16 and 17, things started getting active, So we had Harvey, we had Irma, we had, Louisiana. My God, you had so many storms up that way. And Florida's had its share since then. So, I mean, every season we have 1 or 2 storms, right? Well, in 2022, I got the same feeling of tone that I'm seeing now, right? Season's a bust. Oh, my God, all these forecasters, blah, blah, blah. Well, we had 60 days. So Colin, I guess 1L, I don't even know the difference. But it ended July 3rd. Technically, there was a storm in July, so I was wrong about that. But we had 60 days from July 3rd to when we had our next system brewing. So pretty much all of July and all of August, we had nothing. And I remember, it was like, oh my God, what's going on? The season's a bust. There's nothing going on. It's supposed to be an active season. It was third year La Nina. And then all of a sudden, boom, look at that. Things got going, right? And I forgot about Fiona. That was like I believe it was the worst hurricane ever for Nova Scotia. And I know it doesn't affect you if you don't live in Nova Scotia, but that's a big deal because they get a lot of storms too. But we also had Ian after that break. So after Colin, we had a 60-day break. Danielle, Earl, Fiona, Gaston. Then we had Ian. And then toward the end of the year, we had Nicole. So there was a lot of stuff. I mean, and then again, people that dealt with Ian, they didn't care how many storms they had that year. All they care about is they had Ian. And trust me, they don't even want one storm. And unfortunately, the environment still looks very favorable for at least 1 or 2 of these, big storms. I mean, where they go, nobody knows. But believe it or not, our season has not honestly been that inactive. I mean, if you look at, I don't really look at ACE numbers, but ACE has accumulated energy and it's way above normal. And, we've had a major hurricane already. We've had a couple landfalls now. I mean, but we'll see. Just want to remind people, don't think the season's over because we're in a little break right now. It's very common. I posted this morning. This is an 8-day map. The reason I didn't do 10-day map is because we're starting to see activity in 10 days. This puts us all the way out through Monday. And that would basically be a week. And the big chatter has been, you got your islands here, basically Cape Verde Islands, but the big chatter has been the last week we've seen waves coming off higher than they normally do. And when they come off higher than they normally do, there's a lot of dust. We've had a lot of dust, way more than normal. Like, you can't predict the dust. The dust, all they have for predictors of dust is historical numbers. So usually in August, this dusty, dry air that we see so much in June and July is not usually there in August. Well, it was here in August. And these waves that were coming off Africa the last week or two come off higher. They splash down over cooler water, and then they run into this dust, and they fizzle. And fizzle's good if you don't want storms. But we're starting to see signs that next week the waves are going to start coming back off below around the 10 degree to 15 degree mark where they normally usually come off. And that is these little bit ensembles here in the Euro and a little bit ensembles starting to pick up. So that's, and then mention the Gulf. Remember, there's been a lot of chatter about the Gulf firing back up from the old cold front. But that high pressure is bringing a lot of shear up there, and there's just not really anything showing. So, the Euro's got 51 members, and the GFS has got 31. So typically, before you even start to post anything about tropics, you want to see consistency. And right now, there's like none here. There's none on the 60 degree west. So it's quiet for a week at least. Peak season September 10th. We get closer and closer to that peak, but we just have to keep an eye out. That's what we got. There are a couple signs, like this. This is a really old school map starting to show a couple of these waves down the road popping off. Nothing's guaranteed, but generally is a place to watch. Then we got the Global Tropics Hazard Map. This was put out last week, showing the Atlantic might really start waking up towards the end of the month. So See about that. Go to Weather Nerds here. I'm going to leave this in animation mode. All right, so let's start over here and show what's cooking. So right now, these are your 10-day ensemble plots, and you're going to see a bunch of little L's popping off here. And this has kind of been what's happened in the last week or two. Waves have been coming off kind of high. There's good signature of a wave coming off of Africa, but that's really high. Cooler waters, a lot of dust, and watch what happens to them. They just kind of fizzle, and they're gone. But then late this weekend, we're starting to see a few now starting to pop off of here. And they take a little time to get going, but what we're seeing is once they clear out and get, past the islands, you start to see a few more little pops come in. And that's just kind of showing you, maybe here, this is next Monday, Tuesday, and then maybe one behind it. So never guaranteed, but it's definitely been the trend of a little more activity middle of next week. So there you go. We can go back to 15-day ensembles and show you what they look like and kind of back that up. 15-day, there's a lot more color. 10-day, maybe those waves start to get going. 15-day, starting to see a lot more pop. None of these are obviously anything to even put money on, but just showing you how the atmosphere might change around a little bit. But hey, nobody knows. All right, Caribbean, let's take a look at it. These are GFS plots. And definitely seeing, 15-day on the GFS. We got to go to Atlantic and then 5 degree. And, you start to see a few more. 10 days, you don't see any. And then 15-day, we're starting to see some. So we'll see. Raymond from Barbados. What's up, man? Barbados is the first ones. So the old way, this is the old way they used to do communications with tropics was ships, because ships would communicate to other ships. So Barbados is the first little island right here. So they'd be the first ones to say, hey, we got a really bad storm. And it would go to here, and then they would tell these people, and then they'd be like, oh, wow. And then word would get around, hey, we got something cooking. So it was the old telephone line with a string, It'd be like, hey, what's this? But Barbados is the first little country here that pops out in front of everybody else. So they get it first. They're the first ones from Africa, right? Casey, you want to babysit Louis? Yeah, he's a good guy. Brandy, you ever been to Barbados? Coconut Telegraph. Is that the Coconut Telegraph? Is that what that was? Coconut Telegraph. Ooh. So anyway, Adam Johnson, that's funny. What's up? Tybee Island got a nice wind shear. Oh yeah. There's a big downburst in North Carolina yesterday around Lake Norman. They had one of those little storms yesterday. Let's look at the radar too, by the way, to kind of talk about what's coming today. And unfortunately, we'll talk about Daytona coming too. There's not a good forecast for the week for Florida. Well, I don't know what it is about NASCAR. Every time there's a race at Daytona, we get rain. It's like a guaranteed thing. Crazy. So here's that little bit. So I did a radar from last night. This little blob of rain here came through, missed Pensacola, but it came through last night. We had the same little blob went through the Carolinas, and we had it north through Virginia northward. This is what we got cooking today. Now, daytime heating comes along, and then we start to see these little popcorn storms here about 2, 3 o'clock start popping. And you can see some here in Carolinas, random. But the main energy this evening is obviously spread across northern Florida and some in the Carolinas from that front. Doesn't mean everybody's going to get it. It just means the conditions are there that we could see, some strong storms coming in off the Gulf and then up here from that lingering frontal line. And you can verify that. Look at the old SPC map here, and you'll see that. Right here, this guy right here. So there's, lingering front. A little bit of action. Louisiana popping. It just means the atmosphere is a little more ripe for severe weather. And a lot of that's just hail, too. I don't think we get any tornado threats out of this. It's just, there's no tornado. Mainly wind, maybe not even hail, really. Just wind. Yesterday we had hail. Fronts lost a little bit of that juice. But the old vortex, Johnny Weaver. Hey, tell me about your week there, Johnny Weaver was in Bermuda. Yeah, Daryl Walsh talked about the vortex theory, especially at Bristol. The heat of the cars would, prevent convection, basically. There's buildings around here that I've talked to people around the Cape that actually rain goes around them from the heat. Dissipates, steers, prevents convection, basically. Yeah, Chris, if they'll race on Sunday for sure, but we'll be out of there. We got to get home. What's up, Bobby? What old-fashioned maps? History repeats itself, right? Yeah, no transportation. That's what I was wondering, Johnny. Yeah, I was looking forward to it. Harold, that's what you all got last night up there in Idaho. Season ain't over yet, Tony. No, we're just in a little lull. Trust me. We'll talk. I'm going to look at some long range stuff here in a little bit. So I'm not going to stop talking. Saturday night, Bobo. Should be Saturday night. It used to be Firecracker 400. All right. Well, here is the 5-day rain map. Let's look at that. This is all the rains until Saturday morning. Monday morning, excuse me. This is 5-day, yeah. Oh, Saturday morning. That's right. 5 days. And you see where when I say lingering front, there you go. That is a lingering front. It's just going to hang out. Now, there was some chatter. Sometimes the tails of these lingering fronts can get tricky. None of the models are showing it, but usually early season, end of the season, tropical development comes from tails of these lingering fronts. But we normally don't have fronts like this in August. And by the way, it was 64 degrees in like 9 places in Florida on Saturday. So just because you didn't get it, somebody got it. And Florida's a big state. I know it's easy to say it was a bust, but there was about 50 some locations that I counted on Saturday that were in the 60s. Just because you didn't get it. Somebody got it. We didn't get it. We're too close to the Gulf. But there's your rain. Let's look at some daily looks here, what it might look like. Most of this rain, unfortunately, comes later in the week. And that is not good for Daytona. So let's look at some daily rainfall totals here. I'm going to show you. I don't know which one I'll look at. I don't think they go out far enough. That's heat map. What am I looking at here? We want to look at. Oh, let's see how far it goes. Let's go to 24-hour rainfalls for Florida. This only goes out. Oh, it goes out enough. All right. So here's, unfortunately, all right. I'm just going to kind of show you this. This is 24-hour rainfall totals. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, into Sunday. So you can just tell anytime, any place. Here's Thursday rains. You know, Friday rains. You don't really know where it's going to rain. It just means it's going to rain somewhere. It's just a lingering front, and it's just going to hang out. It just, when you look at a precipitable water map, go to the Euro, and we'll see a lot of purples and reds here. So this is all the way through the weekend, and then another little wave comes in off of. Look at that little juice comes in, adding to the mix. That's interesting. A little wave comes into play. This is Saturday. Oh God, look at all that red. That just is the amount of precipitable water in the air, and when we get around 2 inches, it usually means it's going to rain. So not very encouraged right now about a lot of sunscreen. But that's the way it goes. We'll see. It might not pan out, hopefully, but that's kind of where we're at. Let me show you a cool little link you might not even know I have on my site. Go to the top here. Go to MWS forecast points. Click on that, and you can zoom out. I have it zoomed to Tampa because I'm selfish. That's where I like to look at. But you can zoom out and go to Daytona Beach. Click on it, and check this out. You will get the coolest thing you've ever seen right here. You'll get daily temperature, winds, precipitation chances, dew point chances, hourly chances, sun chances, wind chances, graphs. Look at this. Probability of thunder. Look at that. More data than you could ever hope for. And this is from National Weather Service. But as you can see, Daytona Beach here, chances of rain. Tuesday 51, Wednesday 48, Thursday 74, Friday 72, Saturday 66, Sunday 65. So, yeah, let's hope it changes. Heat index, look at that today, 105. Oof, crazy. But anyway, that's the way it goes. What are you gonna do? James, I'm just going over there to hang out. The dogs are excited. No, I would not stay, James. I would leave Sunday. It's more about camping for us. We had to be home Sunday. Sarah's going to take a couple days off school, but she'd rather go camping. She learns more from Daytona, I think, than probably a couple days at school. Pacific's hogging all the attention. Minecraft Mike, let's take a look. Usually when the Pacific's hot, the Atlantic's not. Oh, you ain't kidding. Holy cow, look at that. Jeez. That's where all the crayons are at. They're in the Pacific. There's 4 systems over there. We got Gilma, yellow, orange, and red. Usually that's a sign of what's coming to the Atlantic. It's Bobby, talking about history. What I've seen over the years, when it's busy in the Pacific, when the Pacific's hot, the Atlantic's not. But when the Pacific, that weather pattern usually will shift to the Atlantic once it's done with the Pacific. But that's a lot of activity, man. We got a lot of stuff out there. Some of these are invests. You can go to tropicaltidbits.com here and take a look at them. Let's see what we got. We got all kinds of stuff. We got 90E invest. Which one's that one? Let's see if Hawaii's in the mix here. Usually, oh my God, yeah, it is. Woo! Didn't even know that. It's kind of odd to see Hawaii. Hey, Johnny Weaver, man, we going to Hawaii? Chris, I saw that college thing on X with the crayons about how hot it was in Louisiana and the crayons melted. But this is interesting. We got some of the spaghetti from Invest 90 over there heading toward Hawaii. I wonder what the strength's going to be. Well, that's interesting. Well, that's really interesting. Could Hawaii? Has anybody heard about Hawaii maybe getting some storms? That would be something definitely not very common. Let me see. I think we can. East Pacific doesn't show it. I don't think East Pacific shows Hawaii enough. Well, what would be the best map? I just have to be really wide. I think we just got to do North Pacific. I don't think any of them is zoomed in enough. God. I don't even know where Hawaii. There's Hawaii right there. All right. Well, let's take a look at GFS. I'll be damned. Look at that. Really, really close. 987. This doesn't go out enough. Wow. Hey, man, Hawaii could have a little action. So there's the GFS gets really close next Monday. I ain't flying to Hawaii. Not after my Bermuda trip. But that's pretty darn close to Hawaii right there. That's interesting. Wow. Hawaii getting the tropics and the continental U.S. is not. What is up with that? The Euro, oh my goodness, look at that. It's not organized, but it's smack dab over the Big Island next Monday. 1,006 millibar, 1,007. I can't believe it. All right, so there we go. We learned something together. Hawaii could possibly have a tropical system next Monday. That was weird. I'd love to go to Hawaii. I think Mirtha, I believe you're right. I believe Levi works out of. Shelly's given up. We're not going to Hawaii. Plus, Emily would be very mad because Richard, they don't get very often. Usually, the waters are so cold out there. But that's interesting. I'm gonna have to post it. But anyway, long range tracking. We'll look at a couple things here, I reckon. We'll reckon. Well, what did I miss? Anything good? Anything good at all? Time to prepare. Be ready. Because you know we got storms coming. Just don't know when. I would love to, Tiffany's. Anybody go to the home show this weekend? David, what's up? Yeah, it would be kind of fun. It might snow. Just for you, John. Heck yeah. The Big Island gets snow. It's always fun to post a snow video in Hawaii because everybody thinks, Hawaii, snow. Hawaii tropical systems, maybe. Oh, man. Crazy. All right, we'll look at some long-range tropic stuff here, and then we'll sign off. We'll be live tomorrow. Hey, for all my friends here locally in Florida, Pinellas County, Hillsborough, a lot of people always ask me about storm prep. Trees are a big, big thing. Florida Division of Emergency Management talks about it all the time. One of the best ways to prep for storms, or any storms, is trees, and a lot of people ask me all the time. So I got a banner on there, Progressive Tree Care. These guys are great. We just had dinner at TBBC the other day. It was awesome. But if you want to find out more about getting your home prepped, A lot of people ask me all the time, how do you prep your home with trees? And it is a big part of it, so they'll definitely help you out. And if you have a tree fall down, they're the first ones to call. They put all the upfront money down for you, so you don't have to deal with it. But you got to mention MWP. $10,000 to move a tree. Did you know that? But definitely, it's important to get your house prepped for storms. Living in Florida, we got all these big oaks, and especially my dad. If you've ever driven into Nebraska Avenue in Palm Harbor, there are so many oak trees. I bet you his oak trees in front of his house have to be 200 years old, and they are massive. Like, I don't even know how. I had to cut a limb down one day, and when I cut it, it sprung because there's so much weight, on it. And it flew up like just the power of tree limbs, But you don't want one falling on your house, so they'll cut off what you don't need and get ready in case we do get some big winds. Because we will have a storm one day. It's just a matter of when. It's just not this week. Trust me, I don't want one. People think I want them. I don't want one. Now that I'm a homeowner, I don't want a storm. When I was a kid, I will say, I thought it would be cool. But no. No. All right. Let's look at tropical tidbits here. Just to show you what's thinking. So next week, next Monday, this is September 2nd. That's a long way away. But here's next Monday. So this is what the Euro's been showing. A couple little lowriders plopping off. This is the GFS. It's starting to show a couple waves next week. GFS trying to get one going. That'd be the following week, September 1st, September 2nd. So, this is vorticity. This doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just kind of shows you spin in the atmosphere. So there's one potential for the islands. September 2nd, Sunday. Long way away. But what we're looking at is right here, next week. We're going to see Monday next week. Just kind of show you how the waves are coming off a little lower. Usually 10 to 15 degrees is where they like to be at. So we're going to look at this little area here on all the models for next week at this time. Euro next week. It doesn't go out that far. The 00Z does. Let's go to Monday. And you can start to see some broad spin here Sunday on that first one. And nothing organized, but it's there. So, there's a wave Monday. Here, this is kind of still showing, but this is a mid-level thing that came across. This is next Monday. Some of the models were showing a little leftover front. Remember we were showing that surge of moisture? If you look at the Euro here, that surge that was coming in, watch this red blob here. This is next Friday and Saturday. It's not organized, but it kind of hits this frontal line. And sometimes early next week, sometimes they try to spin up. So there's your old front with a little bit of juice, but none of it's showing organized. And it would go into Texas. There's a big high pressure locked in over next weekend. So that's not really showing. But this could be showing. Nothing really solid. Yesterday's 12Z, next Sunday, a week from Sunday. Daytona Sunday, boom, there's a little spot there. And here's that frontal line emergence. There's just nothing on the Euro really on that. Canadian here for this weekend. Here's that spot a week from Monday. Boom, boom. That's kind of what the GFS was showing. Two little spots about the same time frame trying to get going. Canadian's been really good about sniffing things out. And it's showing something here next Tuesday. Maybe another wave back there. There's that leftover front juice here going up into Texas next Tuesday. So, we're starting to see some signs that maybe a couple things are going to try to get going, but very, very weak signature. Here's a Euro AEI. The AEIO, EIEIO, but it ain't showing nothing hardly. This is almost to September. Now, here's that little bubble right here, September 2nd. But very weak signature. So, yeah. So the bottom line is, here's that mid-level juice I was tracking last Friday. It's coming across, and by the weekend, it's going to merge over here. Right here. This is next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and it just kind of goes up into Texas. So, nothing, man. I mean, tell her something. There's zero to worry about. There's zero at this point for anything shown on radar. But that's good news. So that means enjoy nothing. Who's going to Daytona, by the way? Yeah, Evan, they're still calling for crazy numbers, but we just don't know. NOAA came out with their updated map, and they're still showing lots of storms. Yeah, so when I see the AI model, Lacey, I see the Euro AI, and I start thinking EIEIO. So no disrespect to the Euro model, but I call it the EIEIO model. Yeah, we're going camping September 1st, Michael Stephen. I did talk to Greg and Jason at Furman. We were talking about if I ever traveled out of country again, we would probably do some cool thing with Furman and send out some generators possibly to a local hardware store and have them ready to go for folks that needed them, and me especially. If I went to an Airbnb again, we would send out a generator, and then work with a local hardware store and have generators there. So they got their power on back pretty quick, but there's still 24 hours, 48 hours for a lot of folks that don't have power, and it's not fun. Carolyn, great question. All right, that's an awesome question. What determines weather systems develop off the coast of Africa? Well, most of the storms that come off Africa are like mid-level waves. In fact, if we look at satellite right now, let's go to Tropical Tidbits and look at satellite. He has a good African satellite here, Eastern Africa. So they usually come off as, thunderstorms, and they land on top of something called the Intertropics Convergence Zone, which are these winds that meet in the middle and meet up top. And I've never had it not load. Come on, you can do it. There we go. All right. And look how high it is. Usually it's not this high, but typically this line is very well defined, and you get very strong winds coming in, and then these are showing up now. So these low pressure areas plop off, and they try to develop, and these upper level winds and these lower level winds actually start helping them spin. Now you can see that kind of going on here a little bit. Not as quite as you'd like to see, because we're getting a little bit more horizontal on it, but typically you start to get these winds work together and start creating a low pressure area, and that allows thunderstorms to develop more, And then naturally, the stronger the system, they usually break off of this and become their own low pressure storm systems that naturally want to curve up and around due to the Coriolis effect. So they get the help from this intertropics convergence zone. They get help from African rains that come across. But when we have a lot of dusty, dry air, which we've seen a lot this month, this is one thing right here that really deters tropical systems. So even that moisture that comes off Africa is there once it gets over the Atlantic. If there's no fuel source anymore with moisture in the atmosphere, then they just dry up. They rain themselves out, basically, and this dry air limits them to develop. And it's very, very common to see. Like, we were tracking a wave last week that looked really good. It had never got a yellow circle, and then all of a sudden one day, guess what? Poof, went down. It just couldn't do it no more. It just ran out of juice. So this is heavy for this time of year. Typically it's not that heavy in August. And then you have other things. The MJO's got another phase coming into play here, first part of September. You have this phenomenon that rises atmosphere convection. We're in a sinking air pattern right now for the next week or so. So usually orange is bad for tropical systems. Green and white's good. Green and white means that storms have a natural ability to rise, so that helps these thunderstorms develop off of Africa. And there's waves all the time. There's all kinds of waves. There's always tropical waves. You always have tropical waves. You got wave. This is a low. There's a low coming off. But these are the seeds that tropical systems need. But when they don't have good conditions above, like all that dust right now, they just fizzle out. But one thing that, is being discussed is, you got your islands here. And these are the waves coming off a little high right now because the intertropics convergence zone is a little high. One thing that's happening is moisture. It's moistening up. It's moistening up the atmosphere. Maybe trying to get rid of some of that dusty, dry air. But again, man, it's so hard to predict. Every year. 2022. With Ian and Fiona and Nicole, it was supposed to be a very active year in the 20s. 20 storms were supposed to happen. But we only ended up with 14. So that year we had Bermuda High was a little farther to the north. Storms were coming off a little more. It's kind of like this year a little bit. And then that high built back in at the end of August there, and it allowed some storms to form. But things happen that they can't predict, The Bermuda High placement is so hard to predict, and the dust is so hard to predict. But down the road, starting to see less 10 days out. A couple days ago, this is what it looked like. A lot of dust was coming off. This was the 14th. But now, look at now. And, still some out there, but even these maps are hard to predict. So we'll see. Disney Pixie Dust. Cindy Brewer. Morning, Cindy. What's up? Richard, how's it going, buddy? Got your donuts and coffee? Reminds me of this year, Mike. September. So, yeah. So, there you go. So, story this week is lingering front. It's going to bring a lot of moisture to Florida. We have some tropical juice heading that way this weekend. It's going to add even more tropical dust or juice. One of these, it's probably this wave here. There's a wave coming in this weekend. It's actually going to add to the already lingering front juice that's hanging out. So we can take a look at that. Where's it coming from? Yeah, see it? This is that mid-level area. See it right here? This is kind of how Debbie started. Debbie was a mid-level low that ended up taking forever to develop. But here's Wednesday. This is our lingering front. This is moisture in the atmosphere. There's that red. There's the thing, old wave coming across, and it's going to merge with that front. And extra juice Saturday and Sunday and Monday. So this is a juicy pattern. Waves, let's take a look. Things are starting to get better a little bit tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday here. Here's that new wave coming. Nothing too significant though. So if you're cruising, let me just hit play. It takes forever to load this stuff. Here's Thursday, Friday. This is 10 foot, Saturday, Sunday. So yeah. You can deal with 10 foot waves. There's no biggie. So if you're cruising, you know, not bad at all. Nothing organized. There's Ernesto moving on out. There's that frontal line moving on out with it. So little break Tuesday and Wednesday here. There's our next little wave coming in. There's our frontal line just lingering. You can always tell by the wind barbs too. You know, thinking back to Nicole, we had a huge high pressure when Nicole was around, and we had massive winds coming in. And then Nicole came into play, and then those winds came in on the top side, and everything just ended up hitting north of the storm. A lot of combination there, but we had tons of damage along the East Coast. Just finishing off what Ian did with the seawalls and flooding. A lot of flooding with both storms. That persistent winds off of the Atlantic. Dana wants to know how do you... Well, the only site... Well, there's a couple. Let me show you. Let me close some windows here. I don't have my windows open. I'm talking about here. All right, so let's see. So there's a couple I got on my site. This is a current one. Animated. They're right here. There's two of them. The Fox Hurricane's a great one. And then the animated Sal Dust Map's another old school one that we've used for a long time. And this is a combination dusty, dry air, but it pretty much shows you the red is really thick. And this goes out. This is current. This isn't a predictor. The My Fox Hurricane one is a good one because it predicts out in time. So, you know, here's Sunday. It only updates like every other day, I think, but you get the idea. But here's through the week. Here's Wednesday. So it goes out a few days. But you can also see what's coming behind it. And there's Wednesday right there. So, there's another plume coming. So anyway, Shelly. All right. Well, so that's about it. Tropics weather in a nutshell. Are you the guy with the hat? Yeah, I'm the guy with the hat. That's my nutshell hat. It's a hat full of nuts. Everybody always tries to guess what the hat is. It's weather in a nutshell. I had another question today. Are you the guy with the hat? I'm like, yeah. Fixing all my props. Well, anyway, we'll be live tomorrow and see if anything changes. There are subtle hints that towards the end of the month here, things are going to be getting back active again. So Don't eat all your hurricane snacks yet. It's not time. There's definitely a strong signal here on the Euro MJO cycle coming the first week of September. It's the end of the month, actually. So, very strong signal that we could be very active once we get into that green area. Historically, we will be, but as we have seen, the dust came into play for our last phase of the MJO, and we had Ernesto, which at one time Ernesto was supposed to be a major, and it never became. So even with all that hot water and all the, La Nina, if everything else doesn't line up, it doesn't happen. So Priscilla wants to know, how much rain are you getting this week? Well, I don't even know where you live, Priscilla. How would I be able to answer that? Carolyn needed an IPA. Well, right now, you can get one of these. That's about the coolest can ever. Second coolest can. Mine is coming out in about 4 weeks. It's going to be cooler than this one. Spaghetti Model IPA. A West Coast tropical IPA. Not a hazy. West Coast. Mike, we are not in full La Nina yet. I think some of the predictions had it not as strong as originally thought, actually. But let's take a look here. They changed some things around. They got some new graphics up here. All right, let's take a look. I haven't checked lately. Usually they make a big announcement. No, we're still kind of in a neutral. We're still in transition. September is when we're supposed to be full blown into it. So we're right here, kind of in this transitional. Did they tell you where we're at? I don't even know. I need to know this better. They usually tell you. Oh, right here. See, I learned something new every day, Mike. So we're in ENSO neutral conditions. Full La Nina expected to emerge September through November. Now La Nina winters are big. That's a big dipping jet stream. More winter cold fronts. Less storms for the southeast because we won't have that subtropical jet stream, but we're going to have more chances for more dipping cold fronts, mean more winter action that we didn't see during El Nino. So La Nina definitely is a more winter favored system, but it also can be trouble because remember that big ice storm we had a couple years back was bad. Oklahoma, Texas. Oh, frostproof. Hey, you're gonna get rain. Rain for the week. About 2 inches for everybody. We'll just do a blended model here. It's blended models are very conservative because it takes all the averages of all the models, so it doesn't show you the places that could get a lot more. But this is through Saturday morning. You can just see the whole idea. I mean, there's going to be a lot of juice in the atmosphere. Isolated storms can bring you a lot more. You could live across the street and get none, but the blend of tropical or rainfall models to me shows you the weather pattern in a nutshell, and that there's a lot of moisture in place across the Florida Peninsula, a little bit up in the Panhandle, southern Georgia, but That's locked in. And we see that other surge of juice coming up from that tropical wave later in the week that's going to add to this for Saturday and Sunday. This is only through Saturday morning. This is through Monday morning. So even more rain falls. And if you look at your 24-hour rains, you know, you can see it really pick up daily all the way to Tuesday. And it starts, you know, these are hard to really follow, but because it takes into account nighttime, which makes it kind of hard. But there's your rainfall through Friday, for example, totals, and then we go to rainfall through Sunday, and then your rainfall through Monday, and then Tuesday. So heavy rain so far, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as another surge of moisture comes in. Now this is a blended model. This doesn't show you that specific European run that shows that blend. So there's other models that are assuming the same thing is going to happen. So, blizzard of '93, Loretta. That's a great question. I don't know. Shelly, can you Google that? What was the blizzard of '93? No. You're talking about La Nina? Well, that was you busted me. When was the blizzard of '93? Well, let me look it up. Shelly, go look up what year was the blizzard of '93. Let's see what '93 was. It was a neutral year. Crazy. Oh, what's up? SV Second Chance sailing. Mike Soul down there. Oh, he's talking to Mike Soul. Yeah, man. How's the sailing going? I know you send Shelly a lot of cool information. All right. So, yeah, we got a lot of funny questions now. The storm of the century was '93 too. Yep. All right. Well, as always, it's fun chit-chatting with everybody. We will be back live tomorrow, and more than likely off the rest of the week as I head to Daytona. Things are quiet. Let's hope. If they change, I'll be live. 100% will. But right now, things are quiet. And we'll see. So definitely you want to tune in tomorrow. We'll look at long-range stuff and see if anything's changing. As I said, it looks like things are kind of hinting a little bit more towards the end of the month. And we'll see. Every day that goes by, we'll start to see confidence on that. But that's about it. All right. So you have a great day. And we will see you tomorrow. All right. See you later. Alligator.